to talk about that one because that one has the Riddler. Yay! Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mo, short for burrito. I don't know if you knew that, but that's true. Yep, yay! So, today we're going to be talking about Michael Keaton's Batman, but more specifically, his Bruce Wayne. And also just like a general discussion about like Bruce Wayne, I guess. I don't know. There's no script, there's not even like notes, like bullet points in my notes app or anything. We're just like improv in this. So, when talking about Batman, specifically Michael Keaton, I don't really want to like be talking about his Batman. I want to talk about his like Bruce Wayne. And something I think we should do more of is discussing if a Batman actor is good at being Batman or Bruce Wayne, because it's really hard to be both. And I think when people talk about Batman, they lump both together, but I think you should evaluate both separately because it's very different performances. Because Batman and Bruce Wayne are so different as characters, which is like the point, but like it's a very different performance. Unless you're doing something like Robert Pattinson was, where you're not really doing the billionaire playboy thing. Most of the time you are just quite literally Batman and Bruce Wayne. Like it's like you're technically just playing two roles under the same name. It's kind of crazy. But today we're going to be talking about why I like Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne and why I think it works really well. I think one of the things, okay, so this is not gonna make sense, but we're gonna get there, I promise. Christian Bale's Batman. I know a lot of people love the Nolan trilogy, and it's like a good trilogy. I understand why people like it. But one thing that made those movies really like hard to watch was the billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne act. Like I like physically remember in Batman Begins, like this is like a core memory. I was watching it on my laptop, like my old, crusty, dusty, halfway dead laptop. Like freshman year, I don't know, some point. And it's late at night, I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night, and I'm watching Batman Begins on my laptop, and I remember, he brings like these like European women, to like a business thing or something, and they're skinny dipping in like the hotel fountain, and the staff are like, hey, you have to leave because that's making people uncomfortable, and he just writes a check and he's like, I'm your new boss, I just bought this hotel. And I remember pausing it and screaming into a pillow at like 2 a.m. because what the fuck, that was like secondhand embarrassment I've never felt watching a piece of media in my life until then, and it was diabolical. I don't want to feel that level of secondhand cringe ever again. So that saying that is that I never really truly liked the whole billionaire playboy aspect, because when you do it, it is hard to watch sometimes. It is like unbelievably hard. It is like, girl, what are you doing? I want to shake you by the shoulders and be like, stop it. And so because of that, I had a hard time getting through the trilogy whenever there was like a billionaire playboy scene, but those were like few and far in between. But my point in saying all of that was to point out that I like Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne because he never really does that shit. He never pulls that shit once. To be fair though, in the 3 appearances we have seen his Bruce Wayne, 2 are like young, and then the other one is old man Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne never does the playboy billionaire shtick. He also never really does the like Bruce Wayne appearance. Like when I think Bruce Wayne, I think like suits. I think like tuxedos, like fancy white tie events, or like black tie. I don't know the difference. I'm not rich, obviously. And then like turtleneck and jeans. And he does wear turtleneck and jeans. However, he is a lot more fashionable. And I don't know if that was just because Batman wasn't like as like the Batman we think of today was very different probably back in the like 1989, because that was probably right around when things were getting super serious in the comics, because at that point I'm pretty sure Jason Todd was dead and they were probably introducing Tim Drake at that point, so things were getting serious, right? But like before that, in like the like 60s and the 50s and the 40s, Bruce Wayne had insane, immaculate drip. Bro was dripped the fuck out. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with, like, modern DC comics, is we don't drip Batman out that much. We always just put him in, like, a turtleneck and pants. What happened to creativity? What happened to creativity? Make him one of those fucking people who, like, enjoys vintage fashion, okay? Because, like, I cannot take this anymore. We need to bring back the drip from the 40s. We don't need to bring back 1940s values. I don't think we should. We should bring back 1940s drip for Batman. So, his drip is immaculate in a lot of ways that other Batmen don't have. I would argue, well, I mean, Adam West's Batman had insane drip, but that was also because he was in the peak of the drip era. So, whatever. But, like, Robert Pattinson's has drip, but in the sense that his drip is, like, a, like, baggy Nirvana t-shirt that you would probably, like, cut, so it, like the way girls cut it, so it's, like, hanging off the side like that, and, like, baggy, jorts, you know? Does that make sense? I don't know. He dresses like a 12-year-old boy, and that's drip. He's, like, a guy's Pinterest board of fashion. Does that make sense? We need to move on from the fashion. I cannot sit here all day and just tell you about how awesome Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne's fashion is, because that's such, like, a niche thing, and we don't need to focus on that. Another thing is his personality, because he's not really doing the playboy shtick, and he's just kind of doing the, like, normal guy shtick. I don't know. There's, like, a scene where he's trying to tell Vicky that he's Batman, and he's, like, keeps stuttering, and he's getting really awkward, and he's just, like, unable to do it. And, like, I feel like most Batman adaptations, that would never happen. Like, Batman is always calm and collected and cool. And I really liked, like, that scene is a good one in particular, because it shows how different he's playing Bruce Wayne as a character. Because Bruce Wayne, the way he plays him is he's just, like, a chill guy. Like, he's just a guy with good fashion and, like, a dry, witty sense of humor. He's got that British humor baked into his skull. He's like my parents. He does not fuck with Home Alone slapstick humor. He has, like, a dry, witty sense of humor. He's very chill, and he's down to earth in a lot of ways. I don't know. His Batman also, he grieves his parents in a more, it's subtle, but okay, so, like, Batman's actions are always driven by the death of his parents, but we never really get to see him grieve that much, at least openly on camera, you know? And a lot of Batman adaptations, I don't know why, he just doesn't really do it that much, and that's okay, I guess. I don't know, I'm not here to judge what the directors and the writers choose to include and not include in their media, but Batman grieving his parents and, like, us seeing that, I think, is really important, because it shows, because, like, your actions can say something, you know, his actions, his, like, whole pursuit of justice, that's fine, but, like, when you get to see him physically be mournful, it adds, like, a layer of sympathy to him. Like, in the 89 movie, he puts roses down in the alleyway where his parents were killed, right? And I feel like that scene is really impactful, because it shows us that, like, he's hurting, and, like, he's, like, so sad, and it's, like, really sad, because he's, like, mourning his parents. Another thing is, I mentioned he has, like, a dry, witty sense of humor, because, like, here's the thing. Batman is inherently a charming person. That makes sense. It allows him to kind of get into places where he isn't really supposed to be, or, like, get info from people he needs to get info from that he can't as Batman. Sure. And I really like that he isn't, like, he's not, like, charming in, like, the way Christian Bale's Batman is charming. He's charming in, like, the way Adam West's is, or, like, was, because Adam West is dead, so he's not really playing Batman anymore. Rest in peace, King. That's not what you do when you're resting someone in peace. But, like, it's, like, this, like, it's, like, a charm and, like, a wit that, well, it is intentional, obviously, for the character, or, like, intentional from the acting. I don't think it's intentional from the character, and it's just, like, a product of their personality. Like, Adam, for example, Adam West Bruce Wayne, women in that show were so horny for him all the time, and his Bruce Wayne is just either oblivious or just does not give a shit. And Michael Keaton's kind of doing a similar thing, where, well, like, people aren't, like, egregiously horny for him, like they were in the 66 show for Adam West. he's still, like, charming, and, like, he makes people laugh or whatever. And, like, people are like, oh my gosh, Bruce Wayne, ah. But, like, I don't think he's, like, truly that aware of how charming he is. I think he's just being himself, or, like, a version of himself he's choosing to present to the public. Another thing is Bro is dedicated to his craft, if I've ever seen it. There's a scene in the I'm sorry, I keep referencing the 89 movie, but it's just the one I know the best, and sorry, I don't watch Batman Returns that often. In the 89 Batman movie, after him and Vicky Vale have, like, she wakes up, and he's just, like, Bro is just in his bedroom working out, which is, like, first of all, that's crazy. It's giving all of those things that'll, like, those memes of, like, women being like, Bro has a girl in his bed, but he's playing Marvel Rivals. It's giving that, but it's like, Bro has a girl in his bed, and he's working out because he's Batman, and he cannot stop the grind. Like, that's what, it's like that. And I think that's really interesting, because, like, it shows that even though he I think all Batman as a character, he's always going to crave normalcy, and he's going to crave things like romance and, like, family and, like, normalcy, no matter how much he tries to fight against it. Not because, well, because he's a man. He wants these things, but he feels like he cannot have them because he feels so endowed to his mission of justice. And so oftentimes that's why a lot of his relationships don't work out, because he's so dedicated to the mission, he cannot let it go, because the mission comes before his own wants and desires, right? And so Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne is also really into the mission. Like, that's like Batman's whole thing. He's into the mission. But he's also, I would argue, a very, like, lovesick Bruce Wayne, because, like, he really tries in both of the movies where he's the main character, he really tries in both, with both love interests, to, like, make it work and, like, make this into a thing, and he just can't, because Batman's like he's like a cock blocker. It just, like, ends all relationships for this guy, and that sucks, obviously, for him, not for me. I would never. Alpha Sigma grind set, I'm basically a nun, I took a vow of celibacy, couldn't relate, but for him that sucks. And I think that's, like, I think a lot of actors who play Batman or whatever just kind of don't fully they don't really show that part of the character, because Batman, I would argue, is a very, like, he's a lovesick character. He wants love and normalcy and, like, normal person things, but he feels like he can't, because he has this, like, perverted savior complex, and he just cannot let things go. And I think that's really interesting. And while they don't really explore that a lot in the Burton movies, you get, like, glimpses of it, you know? And, like in that scene where he's working out even when Vicky Vale is literally in his bed, he cannot stop. Like, Batman always lurks in his head, and he's always trying to move forward with Batman, even when good things in his life are around him, and he has the option to, like, enjoy time with people that care about him and are interested in him, and he just cannot stop. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, and that's really interesting. And I don't think we see that a lot with Batman adaptations. We see it in the Nolan trilogy, if I'm remembering correctly, with, like, the whole Rachel arc or whatever the freak. But, like, most adaptations kind of don't work with that. Or, like, it's not, like, a big part of the character. And I mean, it wasn't a big part of, like, the Burton movies, but, like, the fact that it was there, especially so early on, I think laid the groundwork for other Batman actors. And that's really interesting, because, like, when you look back on those movies, those were, like, the first serious Batman movies, like, ever, right? And because they were, like, the first ever serious Batman movies, those are, like, the ones that we have to go, that, like, other actors had to work off of, right? And so you just gotta, like, give credit where credit's due. And I think his Bruce Wayne laid the groundwork in a lot of ways, and also his Bruce Wayne was really hot and had good fashion, and 10 out of 10 would make out of him. That's the video. It's nothing too serious. I have to watch Batman and Robin soon, but also we are gonna do a comic overlay soon. I'm excited to talk about that one because that one has the Riddler. Yay! Yay! And it's also the something I will talk a lot about when it comes to that comic is the queer coding is really crazy, and I feel like we should be talking about that because what the freak, DC, what the freak? Because remember, the Harley Quinn show said, yeah, the Riddler could be a gay twink, but we only let it happen in this one mid-show. So, you know, you're telling me he's not into Batman? Anyways, that comic goes into that a little bit, so I'm excited to talk about that next week. Hopefully, if my life doesn't get too busy, because, you know, I do have a life. I don't do YouTube full-time, obviously, and because I don't do YouTube full-time, things like school and life and work or whatever get in the way of making videos, and then when I have free time to make videos, I'm asleep because I'm just so tired from school and work and life. So, yay! Bye-bye! Bye-bye! Bye!